Blog Talk Radio.
Check out the full episode of this on Mentellect Patreon.
In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, and Amen we trust as the Republic of Mentellect, the real 144,000 that's being gathered in this day and time, the Mentalists, the Amen race, the bright race. Good evening, I'm your host, the intellectual Nuben Minkari, and this is Mentellect Radio. Tonight we're going to be discussing who is the real Savior and what is doomsday. You see, I use that image of myself purposely. That is a extended image of me, a future image of me, an evolved version of me, how I really look. This is how I really look from the fourth dimension. That picture was taken from an image that Dr. Malachi Z. York had. And you might have seen it in some pictures. You might have seen it in some pictures on the wall in my apartment, one of my places. And I just kept staring at that picture. I had that picture over 20 years. I had that picture made over 20 years ago. Right? It is a picture of Enki that Dr. York had envisioned, that he had saw, and that he had painted. A picture of Enki. All right? Now, he did a lot of pictures. He did. Now, for those of you who don't know who Enki is the Lord, or what the Sumerians refer to as the Lord of the earth, the fallen Amen, the head of the fallen Amen, which is what Enki really is, the head of those fallen Amen, those 200 fallen that came down to earth, right? And it's spoken about in the Sumerian tablets, in the Enuma Elish, the Gilgamesh epic, speaking about the Anunnaki coming down here, and about Enki and his brother Enlil, and Enki was supposed to be in negative, and Enlil was supposed to be positive. You know, those of you who know the story, the account of Enki and Enlil. Thing is, those are very real accounts. Those are very real accounts, and they are part of the race known as Amen. That projected here from the upper dimensions into the third dimension. And when they came here, this is how Enki really looked. Who was the real Savior and what is doomsday? The real Savior is the Amen Ray. The real Savior is the future us, the future me, the future us. That's our Savior. Our future self is our Savior. And I put the image of the Savior of my future self as the Savior to this Amen race. The future is our Savior. The future us is the Savior. Because without the future us, we have no point in living. What's the point of living if we're not heading towards something? You people that die off before you accomplish something, that's because you wasn't meant to accomplish it in the world. You see, you people that die off don't know what you're here for. That's because you ain't meant to accomplish nothing here. You don't serve no purpose in the bigger picture of things. You obviously serving the purpose of somebody else, man. We have something to move towards. So we got something worth living for. You ain't got nothing worth living for. Who has to come to save us? Who has come to save us? I have, in the image of Amen. I have. Just like that. And our saving is not, we ain't got to fight for our salvation. The only person we got to fight, the only people we got to fight against is ourselves. Our current selves who want to hold on to this. That's the only fight we got. We ain't got no fight with the white man or the black man. We're only fighting with ourselves, our lower selves that, our modern self, meaning our now selves that may want to hold on to things here, making our now selves go into our next self. That's the only fight we got. In other words, embracing the future and letting go of the past, man. Is this salvation going to benefit the world? Yeah, it'll benefit the world because as we embrace in the future, they're going to embrace the current. Because when I say the current, I mean the now for them, because they're always going to be in the current, meaning of the now. The current is just another way of saying the now, while we firmly moving into the next. We're going to firmly move into the next. The world will be run by the next, as is always dictated that the world is following the next. You see? All right. What are we being saved for? For the future, for the fourth dimension, to be the controllers of this planet, man. That's what we're being saved for. This is why our minds are being harvested for. This is why we're receiving this transmission that nobody else is receiving, man. This is for the evolution of us. This is really happening. That our minds is being spared. That's why we're not walking around like the black race, ignorant and simple-minded in a goddamn trance like black zombies. We ain't walking around like the black race. Okay, we want to go over here and get the push. Okay, we want to go over here and get the push. We want to go over here and turn our children into binary, non-binary. Okay, wants to sit up here and tell our children we immigrants here, we black. Wants to teach our children. Oh, okay. That's what they want. They want you to stay as slaves. That's what they want. The elect, what will happen after the elect are saved? Power. Power. The extension of power. Like you've never seen before, but that's it. For the complete broadcast, you're going to have to go to Mentellect Patreon. Go to Mentellect Patreon for this complete broadcast, because it will not, I guarantee you, it will not be on YouTube. Subscribe to Mentellect Patreon and join the Mesoamerican community.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag.